Ahoy there. Today on the Red Sea, 2 days after unknown persons threw a rock through my window at my new house, I get a letter in the mail from the alarm company, urging me to reactivate my alarm system. What is your biggest? This cannot be a coincidence conspiracy theory? My dad finds tennis balls in the gutters all the damn time. We then have people knocking on our door a few days later asking if we do not need the rain pipes plunged. This happens a lot. They throw balls up onto the roof, which then roll into the gutter. Next time it rains, the balls float to the end and block the downpipe, flooding your gutter. Next day ... knock on the door. Heh, someone tried that on my dad. They did not take into account that I loved to hang out on the roof and had ended up with a nice collection of tennis balls thanks to them. My dad went next door and unclogged my neighbor's gutters for free because he realized what the asshole was doing. Neighbor was a nice old woman, and he called the cops on them. Trespassing would be the only way to hit the roof of both houses. Never saw him again, thankfully. Security dudes show up to see where to install motion detectors and other things. We get robbed a week later. This is why I have 3 dogs. Alarm salesmen come to our door and are instantly repelled by the sight of 3 very large dogs flinging themselves at the door. They shake the frame. I own a business, and I had all 5-star reviews on Yelp. After turning down the overpriced Yelp advertising several times, I received 2 1-star reviews. I do not do a ton of business, and I would remember what was described in the reviews had any of it actually happened. These 2 negative reviews appear at the top of my Yelp page, even though they are not the most recent reviews. I was again contacted by Yelp, who told me that, while they cannot actually remove any reviews from their site, if I were to purchase advertising from them, they could make the negative reviews less visible on my Yelp page. I tried to find out why the 2 negative reviews were placed above all my other reviews, and after some internet research I found Yelp uses an algorithm to rate which reviewers are most active and arrange the reviews in such order. To sum it up, Yelp is a scam. While looking for a landscaper to redo our backyard, we exhausted our search from the better reviewed landscapers and finally looked at the bad review ones and saw one guy had 3 1-star reviews and about 30 filtered reviews. Never noticed that before. Found out they were all great reviews and seemed legit. After talking to the owner, he says Yelp calls him all the time to get him to pay, and they will unfilter the reviews for him. We immediately hired him. He did a great job considering our budget, and we made a review that was filtered, of course. What if you gave him a 1-star review that said "has awesome"? Apply to rent an apartment. Fill out all the paperwork. Credit check etc. Receive a call 2 days later that the apartment has been rented. But we have a great unit 1 floor up that's only $100 more per month. No thanks. I'll keep looking, as this is obviously a con. Who's calling me the next day? So that offer for the unit you were interested in fell through. If you'd still like it for the first of the month, it's available. Duckers. This just happened a couple days ago. We moved into a new college apartment just this past week, and we did the early move-in option. So they still needed to paint and clean the apartment while we were living there. The painting and cleaning crews came in and went to each individual room doing their job. We were the only ones living in the entire building. The next night we got robbed via a window that happened to be unlocked. I work on a research study we posted in a local newspaper. If you have ever advertised in a newspaper, you will know how amazingly persistent the salespeople are for ad space. So after 4 weeks we had not gotten any calls. So I called and cancelled the renewing weekly ad we placed, and the guy asked me why I was pulling the ad. I told him we had not gotten any responses. An hour later we get a call from someone who stated very clearly twice where he heard about our study. It just happened to be that newspaper. I cancelled my lawn service, and within a month I had every kind of weed imaginable in my front yard. Yet my backyard stayed normal. Did the weed seeds just stay in one general area, or are there overpass weedmen throwing seeds from cars? A while back I closed a few accounts at Wells Fargo. Long story. About a week later I got a special offer from Wells Fargo in the mail offering me accidental death and dismemberment insurance. I felt threatened. And if you had bought it, they would have just denied your claim because it's accidental death and dismemberment insurance. Door-to-door or exterminator company salesmen visit. We decline service. The next time someone left through the front door, about 2 hours later, we see giant red ants all over the front pathway. Not only is it the easiest way to get them to go away, but it also may prevent this kind of thing. Tell whoever's offering whatever service to you that you already are a client of someone else / someone in your family does it for a living. Cool if it's true too. I always imagined the people who sell tires drive around at night dumping nails, screws, tacks and other tire nemesis onto the road. It would be a genius business model. Repeat business. Drop a random box of nails on the freeway just before the exit to your business. I worked for a glazier and he claimed in the old days they would go around rough neighborhoods in Vancouver giving kids slingshots and instructing them to aim for windows. I'm actually a fairly good mechanic, but recently one of my cars had a timing belt jump, not enough to cause damage, but it needed to be fixed. I happened to be really busy that month, so I took it to a local mechanic and had them fix it. So, dropping the car off, I decided it'd be fun to play dumb and see how it turns out. Upon picking the car up, the mechanics said it's fixed, but the car still did not feel right. Soon as I started it, noticed it was backfiring and sputtering. Signs of a bad spark. So I popped the hood in the parking lot, and lo and behold, the duckers moved my distributor and caused the ignition timing to be way off. So, I adjusted it in a simple 2 minutes, got back in my car, and peeled out of the parking lot. The look on their face when the 19-year-old kid, who played dumb the day before, shoved their evil plan to squeak out an extra $50 back in their face was absolutely priceless. Now, when I see them around town at local restaurants and such, the guys immediately look the other way. Good friend of mine is also a young, 22, great mechanic, drove an old Fiero from high school until very recently. Once brought his car in for something he cold not / did not have time to fix, and the guys told him they needed to refill his steering fluid and tried to charge him for it. His Fiero did not have power steering. My printer recently began saying it's low on color toner, even though I have only printed in band W for the last 2 months. Duck you, HP. The financial aid department at my university. I fill out FAFSA and then wait months to hear back. Turn in documents that should grant me custody of all of my money. Then, I start to receive notices about late fines being attributed to my account because the FAFSA has not been settled yet. The financial aid office waits until the last month of the semester to finally fix it, giving me the largest penalty possible. Had to go all the way up the chain of command to the president of the school's office to get it sorted out and avoid paying damn near $750 in the school's very own manufactured late fees. I used to work for the company that manufactured Brinks and ADT alarm panels. I once made the mistake of calling them alarm systems in front of our plant manager. He said, "We do not call this equipment alarm systems because crooks are not alarmed that you have one. We call these security systems because having one of these makes our customers feel more secure." After I figured out how to disarm the Brinks and ADT systems in under 2 minutes, I sort of agreed with him. I use something completely different on my home. Random hot guy sends me one message, and one message only right before my online dating profile is to expire. ScrewYouMatch.com. I had True Green doing my lawn. I had to stop it for a while to save money. The next week my front yard was covered in dandelions. There were none in my backyard and none of my neighbors had any at all. They seemed to bloom overnight. I deposited my paycheck into my account at my bank. Then the next day wrote a check to my landlord. When it all went through the system, the check I wrote was processed first, then my paycheck. It resulted in overdraft fees and all sorts of crap. I called the bank and gave them what for, and they dropped the charges. It still pisses me off that they would try that though. Yeah. I also find it malarkey that banks will drop a lot of charges if you ask them to. Like, yeah, we were just kinda hoping you'd pay it for malarkeys and giggles. I recently took my car off of full coverage and a week and a half ago it was stolen and chopped up. There is actually a sound system warehouse in my city that does malarkey like this. They get all your information when you buy something from them. Then a month or two later they break into your car and steal the sub/stereo from you. Driving home on a trip, in the middle of nowhere, run over a nail and get a flat tire. Car shop at the next exit. That sound like sheer luck, depending on how wholesome the shop looked to be. A window repair business here was busted for going out at night and smashing shop windows. I have one more story. My boss told me a story about his company. There's this website that lets customers write reviews about bad customer service from companies. They have got some great SEO, so if you have got a small company, it's easy to have it show up really high up on the Google search for it. Anyway, not long after the report written by an angry customer, it's a long story that is actually kinda sad. My boss got an email from a different company that will help them get off the search results for a small fee of $500. My boss started digging around and found out that this company had exactly the same business address as that site. Not suspicious at all. Whoa, hey, take it easy, it is the end of the video. Do not worry, there are many more. Come aboard the ship for more trips. Like and subscribe for more posts from the Reddit Sea Cove. Thanks for watching.